All right, Fox on top of some numbers that are frankly over the top. We're getting new details leaking out about the president's budget that's set to be released Monday. More trillion-dollar deficits, no end in sight to this exploding debt. Hundreds of billions of dollars in more stimulus spending. And, of course, the predictable tax hikes on the rich. Now, my next guest says, if the president were a corporate CEO, this budget alone would get him fired. But he doesn't spare Republicans. Former Reagan budget director David Stockman joins me. And as we do with Dave when he comes on, not only because I'm a very big admirer of his and have been since I covered him in his budget days, when, of course, I was just a teenager.
Right.
But I've been since, because he's a straight hour. He just tells you as he sees it. So we're spending the rest of the show with him. David, good to see you.
Very good to be here.
So we know, I was thinking as soon as we got the early blueprint of this, that it was going to be a bad budget. It was going to look bad. It was going to, talk a good game, but the numbers weren't going to add up, certainly the way you would like them. So my argument, Dave, and I said this last time you were here, we're still playing games with this stuff.
Oh, I agree. I mean, if anything, this should be an alarm bell warning us that we're maybe 12 months away from a real thundering disaster on this budget. Because remember, in December, everything expires. I call it the great expiration date, December 31, 2012, all the Bush tax cuts, the reduction in the state tax, dividends, capital gains, the payroll holiday, if they extend it, will expire, unemployment insurance expires, the so-called AMT, alternative minimum tax patch, expires, the patch to benefit the doctors under Medicare expires. Now, I'm mentioning all this because it adds up on a 10-year basis to $7 trillion of budget impact, $600 billion the first year. Now, either they let all this stuff expire and the economy will be hit by a ton of bricks as it all happens at once, or they extend and pretend and extend all these deadlines, and then they're going to need to raise the debt ceiling by at least $2 trillion.
Oh, come on, they've done that before?
Well, they barely got it done in August.
Well, you're right, but
okay?
Michael Bloomberg,
They barely got it done, and I think this time, I don't know where you're going to get the votes to increase the debt ceiling towards the $20 trillion mark, which is exactly where we're heading under this Obama budget.
Well,
it's a total cop-out.
But don't you think it's going to be something done? I think a lame duck session is going to do it.
A lame duck session, I don't know. It depends on the election. But if we end up with a divided government, I hope we don't. But if we do, I don't see how it's going to function. And frankly, if we end up with a Republican president and Congress, it is going to cause a total splintering of the Republican Party, because when they get to that point, they're going to have to face down the issue of taxes. Some mix of big spending cuts, entitlement reforms.
Or they might get serious about all
they can't do enough.